Graham Laycock with you this afternoon on Brooklands Radio. And now I'm delighted to have in the studio with me José Penrose. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Graham. Nice to be here.
Thank you. And you're from Home Start Woking.
That's right, yes.
Which is a charity that helps families with children under 5. Is that
yes,
right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, okay. So tell me a bit about Home Start. How did it all begin?
Well, Home Start Woking was actually set up in 1995. There are 5 schemes in Surrey, but they're all independent. And there are Home Starts all over the UK, but they're all independently registered charities, and they're usually supported by their local borough or the county council.
Right, so all the funding really comes via the councils? So
not all the funding these days, because it leaves quite a shortfall, as you can imagine.
I imagine, yes. It's getting more and more difficult, I guess.
That's right, it is. And pressures on us are increasing to take more families on because there are cuts in social services and the healthcare services, but unfortunately no more money is forthcoming certainly from statutory agencies. So.
Right, so you're also into trying to get donations from people?
Very much, yes.
Yes, and so on. And I guess you're rather busy providing the service to get enough time to really do a lot of fundraising.
Yes, we are, and we were very well supported last year by Hobridge Golf Club to the tune of £12,500, but this year we haven't managed to find a major funder. Of course, we do a lot of funding applications to trusts and foundations, and also rely on local small donations because every little helps.
Indeed. Well, let's tell us a bit more about the service that you provide. So who are you trying to help?
We're trying to help families who are generally referred to us by health visitors or by social services, perhaps GPs, or they can self-refer. They're families who have at least one child under 5 and who are having some difficulty in parenting. They may live in unsuitable accommodation, a high-rise flat. The mother may have postnatal depression. They might have a disabled child, and it's quite difficult to manage a new baby. A whole variety of reasons why the family would be referred to us for support.
And of course these days, unfortunately, we don't have the larger family around very often. You know, mum and dad or grandparents may be miles away. And
that's right, yes, that's very true. And sometimes, particularly if the mother's depressed or the housing isn't very suitable, it's very difficult to get out of the house, and though there may be groups provided locally, actually physically getting to those groups can be quite a problem and quite daunting for some people.
And I guess presumably health visitors and GPs and others sort of pick things up from children's behavioural problems, is it? And
more from the fact, yes, from behavioural problems, from development checks, or perhaps seeing the baby. I think the health visitor visits for the first 6 weeks, and she would see if there were problems developing or if the mother could do with some additional support.
Oh, I guess if twins or sort of triplets
that's right, indeed,
up and they've got 1 or 2 kids, it's overwhelming, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, so what sort of real practical help can you provide then?
Well, help's provided by trained volunteers. To be a volunteer, you have to have had children or have very hands-on experience of children yourself.
Volunteers know how
that's right. Yes, exactly. Yes, and the volunteers attend a 10-week training course where they meet other volunteers. We do take up careful references, and volunteers are all CRB checked. They then receive ongoing training and one-to-one supervision every 6 weeks to 8 weeks to check that obviously they're still on track and they haven't got a very big problem with their family. They provide all sorts of help, a practical helping hand perhaps with shopping or helping mum get to appointments. It might be emotional support with parenting, just reassuring, making sure the mother feels confident, perhaps showing mums how to play or how to prepare healthy food, helping with family budgeting, or sometimes just someone to sit and listen and hear the problems and reassure the family that they are normal and that they are doing the best they can.
I think a lot of the time we all feel this, not even just with those sort of problems, any problems that you always feel, it's unique to you maybe, or not many people, but there's obviously thousands, if not millions, in similar situations.
And it's quite reassuring to know that, I think, that you're not the only one having difficulties.
No, absolutely. And obviously it works.
It does work, yes. Yes, in fact, I've got some figures here that say that 48% of the families participated in the scheme felt that their needs were fully met, and 47% said that they were partially met. So that's the majority of our families are pleased with the service that we're able to give.
And it must be actually, for the people giving their time and volunteering to do this, quite satisfying when you see the results and how you're helping people.
That's right. I think it's very satisfying to have helped somebody, and also it benefits volunteers in different ways. They may want to go back to work, and it gives them some skills. The training course is going to be accredited shortly with Newcastle College of Further Education, so that will be a valuable thing to put on your CV. So yes, there are lots of advantages to being a volunteer, as well as the reward of having helped somebody.
So, if somebody does want to help, I mean, how much time would we need to give each week?
We ask that once the initial training is over and the volunteer's been matched with a family, and they are very carefully matched with families. It isn't just random, the next family that comes up. That they visit for 2 hours a week. And we would normally support a family for up to a year. It may only be a few weeks, but it could go on for a year if necessary.
Yeah. So obviously volunteers have got to be committed. What they don't want is suddenly not to be able to support the family.
Yes, there has to be a certain amount of commitment because the training costs money, obviously, and all the checks. But most volunteers stay with us and support several families, so volunteers tend not to come and go.
No, so this one is based in Woking. I know there are others in other parts of Surrey.
That's right, and we work throughout the borough of Woking.
Right, so you're basically the borough. So how many people are you sort of helping each year?
Last year we helped 90 families, which meant it is a lot of families, and we had 37 trained volunteers at that time. So some might be doing 2 families, some would move on from one family to another. So the 2 numbers never exactly balance.
No. And of course, obviously the 90 isn't all happening all year for all those 90.
No, that's right.
Starting and stopping.
They're starting and stopping. And of those 90 families, there were 207 children, and 163 children were under 5. And that is a criteria for a family being referred. They have to have one child under 5.
And is that because you're really specialising in those early years?
Yes.
If you try to spread yourself over a longer age group, then it obviously gets it's different issues then, presumably.
And the philosophy is really that if you can intervene when a child is very young and make sure that they get a good grounding and a good experience of play and parental support at a very young age, then you will avert problems later on.
Right, yes, indeed. I noticed that Home Start then, in fact, started back in 1973 as an idea in Leicestershire.
That's right, yes. And we do have a national body which helps us with policy making and provides us with insurance and that sort of thing. But each scheme is independent from that, very much the same as Scope and Age UK. I think managed in very much the same way.
And it probably does work much better with having a local focus group in each area. You really know the location.
You really can respond to local needs.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess all the agencies, you know you pretty well now in terms of referrals.
Yes, they do. And we do have a health visitor advisor and someone from social services who attend our trustee meetings. So we're constantly in touch to know what's going on in the borough.
Right. I mean, if somebody's listening has got family problems themselves, are they able to self-refer as well?
They can self-refer, yes. We might go back and perhaps, with their permission, of course, talk to a GP or a health visitor. But yes, families can self-refer.
Right. Okay. And volunteer, both people want to refer and volunteers. I mean, how do they go about volunteering?
They could contact us. We have a website which is www.homestartwoking.org.uk, or you can ring the office which is in Woking, in Walton Road, 01483 740 367, and inquire when the next training course will be. And you can come into the office, find out more about how the scheme runs. And this year we've run taster sessions for volunteers, because if a training course isn't coming on, volunteers sometimes get a bit disappointed if they're not involved immediately. So we try and get them involved in the scheme in some way.
Or somebody's just a little bit hesitant, would like to go,
right.
but not absolutely sure they're the right person.
Yes, just to find a little bit more about it, meet the staff, meet some of the other volunteers.
I mean, what's the volunteer scene like? Are you short of volunteers, or are there quite a good stream coming in?
There's a good stream. We had a dearth of volunteers about 2 years ago, but now we do have quite a good stream of home visiting volunteers coming forward. We are very much in need of trustees, though.
Right.
We have a very good treasurer who lives in Oxford and comes down to us, and he would very much like to step down now. So if there's anyone with accountancy experience, it isn't bookkeeping, it is management accounts and that side of things that we need. Right. And we're also looking for someone with personnel skills, but to be honest, just another I was going to say bum on seat, would be very, very welcome, because everybody brings something unique to the management of the scheme.
Yeah, so if anybody would like to be a trustee and help in that way, it's the same contact details.
Yes, it is, yes.
Right, okay. Well, I wish you every success with this enterprise, and it's going from strength to strength, I trust.
Yes, it is. We do have financial issues at the moment, but we're confident that we will recover. Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I hope so. If anybody's listening would like to help, either financially or to volunteer, or would like to refer, or indeed would like to be a trustee, then do get in touch with Home Start, and the contact details again then is all the w's.homestartwoking.org.uk, or you can give them a call on 01483 740 367. Well, thank you very much, Josie, for coming in today and telling us all about Home Start.
Thank you for having me, Graham.
Something I didn't really know was around, so it's very useful to know all about it, and hopefully we're giving you a bit more publicity now.
Good. Thank you very much.
And that was José Penrose from Home Start Woking.
Brooklands Radio.